This is part 2 of 2 parts on using KML files in Google Earth. In this video, we discuss using a KML file in Google Earth Web. These videos were made possible by AmericaView, Virginia View, the Virginia Cooperative Extension, Colorado Mesa University, and Virginia Tech's College of Natural Resources and Environment. Funding for this project was provided by the United States Geological Survey under grant number G14AP00002. The contents of this video and the related written tutorial are solely the responsibility of the authors and do not represent the official views of the U.S. Geological Survey. Mention of trade names or commercial products does not constitute their endorsement by the United States government. This video series, this specific video, accompanies a written tutorial, section 4 of chapter 2, in the tutorial titled Exploring Our Planet with Open Source Software. You can find the written tutorial at virginiaview.cnre.vt.edu or at americaview.org/exploringourplanet. First, open Google Earth Web. Go to Menu. When Menu opens, we recommend that you sign into your Google account because as you're saving and exporting files, you will want to have them save in your Google account. Click on My Places. When My Places opens, click on Import KML File. Now, if your file is in your Google Drive, then click on Open from Google Drive. Otherwise, click on Open File. Then you want to navigate to where you saved the U.S. regions file that we downloaded in the video on locating KML files. Choose the file, click Open, and be patient while the file loads into Google Earth Web. Once the file has loaded into Google Earth Web, it'll look like this in the map document window. There's 4 distinct regions in the United States, and the file is listed in the table of contents on the left. If you look in the front of the file, there is a caret in front of the file name. Click on the caret. It expands and shows there's actually 4 different features listed: the Midwest, the Northeast, the South, and the West. If you click on the little I in the circle by the name of one of the features, it provides you with metadata on the region. If you click on the I, it turns each feature off and on. In this screenshot, we have turned Midwest off. In this screenshot, we have turned off 3 of the 4 features. We've turned off Midwest, South, and West, and the only feature that is visible is Northeast. Click on the Save button. Save saves your map, and if you were to close it and then reopen it, this file would still be in its current form. Click on the caret. As you can see, it's expanded again. It still shows the 4 features, but because you saved it in the form that we had, it's only showing that the feature that's on and visible is the Northeast. You can still turn the visibility on and off even though we saved this. The features are still there, they're just not visible. Now, right-click on the CB 2016, and you will get an option of 4 things: delete, rename, export as KMZ file, or export as KML file. Now, export as a KML file just exports the individual feature. KMZ actually exports the full map. If you export this as is, So export as a KML. Exporting as KML exports the file as is, and it puts it into the lowest status bar. Now, if you have Google Earth Pro on your computer desktop, it'll actually, if you click on that, will open in Google Earth Pro. But let's go back, and this time export it as a KMZ. The same thing's going to happen. The only difference is it's going to say as a KMZ instead of a KML file in the lower status bar. And again, the difference is KMZ does the entire map, whereas KML just does the feature. But again, because the features are still there and they're just turned off, or their eye is turned off, they're just not visible. Let's go back. What we're going to do now is we're going to show you how to export, but just only keep the one feature. So right-click on Midwest and go to Delete. Do that for each one of the features except for the Northeast. So when you finish, it's going to look like this, and the only feature that's left is the Northeast. Now this looks very similar to when you turn the eye off. The difference is you've actually deleted those other three regions out of the file. Now let's export this as a KML file, and it's only going to export that one feature. Put it in the status bar. We opened it from that status bar. And as I said, when you open these, if you have Google Earth Pro on your desktop, it actually opens in Google Earth Pro. And this is what it looks like. And it actually puts it in the table of contents in Google Earth Pro, Northeast United States. Now let's go back to Google Earth Web. What I want to look at this time is this is where we downloaded the Northeast United States. The KML file is still showing in the lower status bar. But if you also look on the very right-hand side, there's a button called Show All. Click on that button. That button takes you to your Chrome downloads, and it shows all the files that you have exported and the date that you exported. As you can see, while I was preparing these tutorials, I exported that Northeast file multiple times as a KML and as a KMZ. Each one of those shows up in this download folder. All right, now let's move on. Now, when we were working in the prior video on finding KML files, I took you to the Census Bureau website for KML file downloads. We specifically picked the one for regions, but if you remember, there were multiple different files there, some on cities, some specifically said urban areas, some that said states, some that said counties. Well, I'm going to show you what happens when you load these additional files into Google Earth Web and what you can do with them. In this particular instance, I had downloaded the urban areas at 500K, and as you can see displayed on the map document window, I imported it into Google Earth Web, and it lists all the urban areas in alphabetical order within the table of contents. It's nice that they're in alphabetical order. What I did in this screenshot is I chose Grand Junction, and then I exported it. So I right-clicked, exported as a KML, and what happened is it opened as a KML in Google Earth Pro. In and of itself, all by itself, just Grand Junction only in Colorado, where there was hundreds, if not thousands, of urban areas listed in that entire KML file. In this case, because I was able to look through it for alphabetical, I selected it, right-clicked, and exported it as its own individual KML file. Let's look at one more. This case, I downloaded the entire states of the United States. And I located Colorado. Again, they were listed in alphabetical order. Right-clicked, exported as KML, and it opened up by itself as a KML file for Colorado. So you can do this multiple times within Google Earth Web. Now a note of caution. The more files you add to Google Earth Web, the slower it gets. Your U.S. county file, your U.S. urban air files, and even your state file, they have a lot more individual features than that 4-region file, which I introduced you to in using KML files in Google Earth Web. So be careful. If you want to use large files, it's much better to do these in Google Earth Pro. Now we will discuss KML files in Google Earth Pro in a separate video. If you have any questions with regards to this video or the accompanying written tutorial, please contact Dr. Tammy Parise at Colorado Mesa University or Dr. James Campbell at Virginia Tech. The email addresses are shown on the screen.